mom was a lot like you. I mean, I used to feel like she was there. She ran a tight ship in terms of we always had food, we always had a roof over our head, things were done. She was
Yeah.
super organized and she knew how to get things done.
Right.
But she wasn't necessarily warm and fuzzy. She
Yeah.
wasn't cold, but she just wasn't warm and fuzzy. And it almost felt like she was like too busy trying to keep everything running to have time to, there ain't no time for that.
Well,
And
yeah, I think with 3 kids, like your mom had 3 and I had 3 and I was working too, trying to raise them and take them to all their activities and
it's a lot.
eat and get all their lunches done and everything, and it is a lot. So,
It is. I feel like in some ways we had a better relationship when I was an adult.
Hey there, rebels on the retirement highway. I'm Cindy.
And I'm Yasmine, your co-pilot for fun flashbacks, retirement mischiefs, and the occasional Medicare sanity check.
We're best friends, lifelong storytellers, and just noisy enough to share what we've learned about life. Laughter and staying retired, rewired, and slightly unsupervised.
Your co-pilot for fun flashbacks and retirement mischief. Each week, we start off with a blast from the past and connect it to real life now and sprinkle in some Medicare truth, minus the boring parts.
Think Thelma and Louise with more giggles, less cliffs, and no cousin Larry explaining Plan G.
So buckle up and hit subscribe. Your Medicare besties are here to keep your retirement stories rolling and your Medicare mistakes in the rearview mirror.
Let's get started.
hey there, fellow rebels on the retirement highway. I'm Cindy Klontz.
And I'm Yasmine Lopez.
And we are best friends, Medicare coaches, and creators of Medicare Besties.
Medicare besties.
Yeah. How are you today, yeah?
I'm feeling a little bit better today.
Yeah, good. Yeah, there's worse than having a tooth infection.
Yeah, it was such a pain. And I've never had a tooth missing and I'm kind of glad it's here. And nobody can see it. I can smile and nobody will tell I have a tooth missing.
Yeah. Well, they say you either take care of it now or you're gonna pay now or you're gonna pay right.
Absolutely.
So,
It was
yeah.
already causing me problems. Yeah. So I'm okay with it. I'm just glad to be kind of on the other end of just having the jaw problems I was having. But
Yeah.
yeah. And then actually I had a really good dinner. Tom, having a retired spouse has a lot of benefits. So he and his dad went out fishing today and they came home with 6 fish. So when I was done working, there was some delicious trout and salmon that had just been swimming around in a lake thinking they had a great rest of their life
Yeah.
this morning that was on our dinner table today.
Have some swimmers.
Exactly. So I kind of, thank them for and my gratitude for the delicious food. But I really do love, I mean, there's nothing better than having fish that's been just caught that day and then,
Oh,
eating it that
exactly.
so
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to dinner with the girls and I had black and blue salad and it was really good. So it was like steak and blue cheese with
Yeah.
it had pecans and dates in it. It was amazing. Oh,
That's like a
yeah.
meal, substantial meal. I know. I love making salad. So Tom goes, well, you want to make a little salad to go, or we're just going to have trout, salmon. I said, no, I'll make something. And so he goes, a little salad. So I get my little bowl and I've got like spinach and then I put radishes in it and a little zucchini and then a little, what else did I have in there? Celery and paprika and then some fresh mozzarella with some lemon poppy seed dressing. My gosh.
Meal all in it.
I know. He's just like, what are you talking about? That's not a little salad. I'm like, I know. But I've gotten to the point where I don't dress the salad anymore so that whatever's left over is going to be my lunch tomorrow.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So
So, we're going to talk today a little bit about organizing and cleaning but I want to talk a little bit about our family and like growing up and how did your mom handle like things and
yeah.
what were things like growing up for you?
And it's so funny because I grew up in, a pretty traditional Mexican family, right? But my mom was not that traditional in the sense that she was a single working mom.
Yeah.
And so, I grew up with a mom that had 3 kids and was barely holding it together, and I look at it because I was a single mom of 1, and I was barely holding it together.
Yeah.
I just think having kids in general, you're just barely holding it together no matter what, whether you're working or not, but, so I just found she was always very overwhelmed. Just it was like we would have a crock pot roast one day. She'd make a pot of beans every week, and that would turn into a burrito or a taco or tortadas, whatever. And so I just think she did a good job of just she had her things that quick and dirty. I can make this, and we're gonna just kind of muscle through it. But so funny though. But she was because of that. She was in that generation of like, okay, ready made things. Like we had all the crappy cereals. All my friends who had moms that were stay at home moms loved to come to our house because we'd have Fruit Loops and,
Yeah.
Captain Crunch or whatever. Then, and some of the lean cuisines and things like that
I
that we
remember TV
hungry late night.
dinners. Yeah, TV dinners. Oh my gosh, those were amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, so we'd have that kind of stuff too because she'd be so busy. But
yeah,
we would eat off of paper plates a lot of the time and whatever. And it cracks me up because I think sometimes you grow up and you want exactly the opposite of what you had growing up.
yeah,
So I like to sit down and I like to set a nice table, and even if it's just me myself, I want to eat and have it be pretty at the table and just have real dishes. And it's so funny because Tom, he likes to eat over the sink. He's gonna have a snack. I go, what are you doing? Why don't you just sit down? I don't
yeah.
know. No, this is fine. And even if there's leftover pizza, I like to put it in the oven and warm it up properly. And everyone's like, no, we're just going to microwave or eat it cold. And I'm like,
Microwave it, then it gets
it's
all
terrible.
soggy. Like I'm with you. I like to bake it. I am not a cook at all, but I have certain ways of warming up things because I'm a good warmer upper,
There
right?
you go. That's an important. Actually, I think that's a super important quality that's underrated because a lot of people
Yeah.
do not warm up bread in the microwave, for example.
No, because it gets hard and
Tortilla.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we love our air fryer too. And
I do
so
too.
a lot of things we put in the air fryer. So I'm a good cleaner because like Jim does all the cooking and so I clean, but we were the same way growing up. My mom was a working mom. I mean, I had my stepdad that lived with us but my mom was always working. And so I don't honestly remember a ton of dinners. We weren't like a sit all at the table.
Remember that about your family because you'd be like, we just sort of eat sandwiches.
Yeah, because my mom was
Yeah.
not she
She's a
wasn't a big
granger.
eater,
Yeah.
and yeah, she just kinda grazed all day, and so she came home and she didn't wanna cook, and maybe so that's why I do not like to cook, but I did when the kids were small and we did sit down and eat as a family when they were all small because I thought that kinda like you, I really didn't have that growing
Yeah,
up,
so it's
so
like you wanted it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
because my mom was working, and so I did cook meals early on. They weren't good because I am not a good cook, and I will admit that wholeheartedly. I do not like it, but I was the queen of casserole, so
I still love casseroles. I think that they're great.
I don't know. Mine were not good, but I would put chicken and then I would put rice in the bottom and then I would pour Campbell's like chicken soup
Uh-huh.
and then the croutons and they were not good but they were easy and the kids didn't know any better and now they're like mom it was horrible. But I mean back then they didn't know and so it was fine but
That's pretty hilarious. Well, since it was just Lux and I, and we didn't have a big family to cook for. I actually am more of that style of I like to make things very homemade. But I
yeah.
only wanna do it, like, twice a week. So if it's, like, whatever I'm gonna make, it's gonna be enough that we could eat it for and the problem I have is that I'm the only one that really loves leftovers.
Leftovers too, and Jim doesn't, and, like, so Jim will leave, like, he travels a lot, right? And so he'll make me, like, this when he left, this week, he made me some chicken, and I said, "All I need is like salad. I can you cut up the chicken, and I put strawberries in it and poppy seed dressing, and I'm good." And tonight, I went out with my girlfriends, and so JJ was home, and I was like, "You can have that chicken in there," and he was, "Oh, I already ate it." But he's I mean, he's 19 now,
Right.
so he can kind of make his own stuff. But yeah, it's nice to have him make things and then I'll just reheat it while he's gone.
Yeah, that makes it so nice. I love that, and it's funny because I don't mind grazing like you do a number of days a week, but if I'm going to cook, then I want to, make something nice. So yesterday for our Sunday, I hadn't made sourdough bread in a long time. So I made 2 loaves of sourdough bread that were cooked yesterday. And we have a rhubarb bush. So I bought some strawberries, and last night I made a homemade strawberry rhubarb pie.
And I would love to taste that. When I come next time,
I
I'll taste it because my grandma used to make rhubarb, and when I was younger, I didn't like it at
Yeah,
all.
'cause it's very tart. Yeah.
Now I really like tart things. So, and JJ went to Michigan last week and had rhubarb, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, mom, it was the best." And
Did he just have, like, rhubarb by itself, or was it strawberry and rhubarb
I
together?
had strawberries.
Okay, yeah, usually that's a combo.
Yeah,
So what, the bush, basically, once it's ready, the stalks are ready, you have to kind of get them all. It's not other gardeny things where you can just kind of leave them on there. So I took it all and I've put it in bags, and you can freeze it, and then you can make it whenever you want. So when you come in a few weeks, I
yeah,
will make you a homemade strawberry rhubarb pie. I promise. But it's funny how, we can I do believe that the pendulum shifts. One of my girlfriends who grew up with, parents, she was, an immigrant from, her parents were immigrants from Cuba, and she had 7 brothers and sisters and grew up in Seattle. And she said that her parents really took a hands-off approach with the kids, let them make their own decisions, didn't try to really get into their business too much. And she often felt they were less interested in their lives. But the reason they did that was because they had parents that were hoverers and always knowing exactly what was going on. And I
yeah,
do think that that's what happens generationally. If you have a hovering parent, I think you might be more of a hands off parent. And I think I did not have a hovering parent. So I think I might have been too involved in over helping my kid, where I think I would have done a lot better to have given a little bit more of, let's pretend I have 8 children and you're only going to get this much of my time.
yeah,
Because it is easy with one. I remember a housekeeper in Munich when my mom used to say, when you're a working single mom, you have to outsource wherever you can. And so I had a housekeeper, and that was a godsend because at least the basics were done. So I could focus on, okay, I'm going to pick up toys today, or we're going to clean the patio, or I can plant a few trees or focus on a meal instead of
yeah.
just handling the day-to-day cleaning that I couldn't keep up. But she had 4 kids, and she said to me, Yasmine, you're doing too much for your kid. You need to learn to just and I know she wasn't saying it in a critical way. She was saying it in a way that you have one, so it's easy. It's easier for you to do for them because
Yeah,
you just have one. Where if
right.
you had a bunch, then you have no choice. You got to run it like, a tight ship.
Yeah.
And so I was curious for you. You had 3. So did you find that you were really good at setting that expectations of what they needed to do? And
So, I mean, I always, and I don't know if that's just because I think that that's how I was raised, and I don't think that I raised my kids opposite of how I was raised. I think I kind of followed suit, and my mom just expected us to kind of be self-reliant since we really were in a divorce kind of household and she worked all the time. And I mean, even though I was a stay-at-home mom, I still kind of kept that mentality where I made them do things for themselves that I could have done for them, but I just felt it would instill discipline in their life. And honestly, I mean, could I have been more loving? Of course. That's one of the things that I is probably my weakness, is just that, not that I didn't love my kids, but that's how I showed my love for them, was
Right.
making them disciplined in order to do things themselves. And I wish I was a little bit more, caring and loving and everything.
I
But
think my mom was a lot like you. I mean, I used to feel like she was there. She ran a tight ship in terms of we always had food, we always had a roof over our head, things were done. She was
yeah,
super organized and she knew how to get things done.
Right.
but she wasn't necessarily warm and fuzzy. She
Yeah.
wasn't cold, but she just wasn't warm and fuzzy, and it almost felt like she was, like, too busy trying to keep everything running to have time to I don't there ain't no time for that. And
I think with 3 kids, like your mom had 3 and I had 3 and I was working too, trying to raise them and take them to all their activities and
it's a lot.
eat and get all their lunches done and, everything, and it is a lot. So,
It is. I feel in some ways we had a better relationship when I was an adult. Once I was an adult, and even when I moved away to Germany, believe it or not, we would probably talk on the phone 2 or 3 times a week.
yeah,
And she became my best friend. She was like, "How was your day? What did you do today? How's this going? Where are you headed off to this next?" Whatever.
yeah,
And so I felt like she became my lifeline in this connection, but I didn't feel that as a kid. But I really do think that you gave your kids a huge, huge gift in terms of that self-reliance because I don't know about you, but as an adult, those moments in time where you realize, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And you get that fluttery like anxiety, like, oh my God. And then you go, no, I got this. I don't know how I got this, but I got this. I can figure this out. I'm gonna manage. And I think that that's the biggest gift anybody could ever have. There's nothing worse than feeling you don't know how to make decisions for yourself or get yourself out of, the daily grind or the chaos that's gonna Murphy's Law that comes to us, you know?
yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
and then I remember your mom always being such an incredibly beautiful decorator. Your house always had pretty wallpaper and it was always decorated with lots of gorgeous antiques and everything.
Looks exactly the same
I
now.
know. When I went to see her, it was like deja vu, like no time
No,
had passed.
her house looks gorgeous.
That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is Tom's house, her
Well,
ex-husband.
it's like a time capsule.
He has not changed it. It looks like 1980s, the same wallpaper, the same everything. If you went in the house, you would go in my room and you would be like, "Oh my gosh, this looks like a blast from 1980s."
Hilarious.
And it was so funny because my stepsister, her husband went to go visit Tom. Do you remember
Yeah,
Tom?
I do. I remember your stepsisters.
Yeah, and so he went to go visit him and he was like, "Tom, your screen door is broken." And he was like, "Yeah, Cindy and Britt slammed it." And he was like, "Tom, that was 40
40
years ago. You can't blame Cindy and Brent on your screen door not shutting."
That is hilarious. That's pretty funny. I love it, but I don't know about you, but occasionally I'll go into clients' houses and it'll feel a little bit like that time capsule. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's really cool. One of my clients, she said this was our starter home that we thought we would always get out of, and we ended up just keeping it. And it was built in the 90s. It was this little cute home, but everything, the furniture and the appliances, but perfectly pristine. Like I just went into a sitcom. It was
Yeah.
gorgeous and so cute.
That's
But
how it is, and now it's all coming back. You can
yeah,
see that the green stove and all that olive
love
green.
that. Yeah.
Now everybody loves olive green.
Yeah. I have told myself because we just remodeled our kitchen 2 years ago and we're 58. I said, "That's it. I'm never remodeling a kitchen again. Whatever kitchen I have, it'll be the one I'll have till I die."
Yeah, yeah.
I think at some point when you get to retirement age, you don't wanna be spending money on, like except for your mom or maybe my mom. She was remodeling. I mean, literally, the week before she died, she was still upgrading a fence. I was just
Funny.
I remember the fence. I'm like, "What's going on?" I was asking my brother, "What's going on with this fence thing?" "Oh, yeah, that's mom. She decided she was gonna replace the fence." I'm like,
And things break, right?
"They do. They really do."
Yeah, we just got a new washing machine. I know we're going to talk about organizing and cleaning and everything today. And one of the things that made me think about that was because our washing machine just broke and the appliance repairman came because they were trying to fix it, right? Because it was unbalanced and I was putting all these huge comforters in there. Well, I didn't realize that you can't put comforters like huge ones
Yeah.
washing machine. I don't know why. I always have, and it's never really been a problem. But anyway, so it got all off balance and then it ended up frying the motherboard. And so we ended up having to get a new washing machine. But the appliance repairman, he told us that you can't put comforters in there. But he said another thing that I didn't know that is also just as bad for your washer is to have just maybe put 3 or 4 things in there, really small things, because it can also, like
It
all, yeah, it gets on one side and then it can get unbalanced on that. And so he said that that's mistake number 2 that people make. And he said mistake number 3 is that they put way too much detergent in their washer. So I'll,
interesting.
I do, because I was filling the cup up
Okay.
to the line, and he said, "Oh no, you really just need a itsy bitsy amount of detergent because it's so concentrated now that you really don't need as much as you did back 10, 15 years ago when stuff wasn't as concentrated."
Well, that makes sense. So what you're telling our listeners is that if they're been not able to get a buy-in from their hubby that they need a new washer, that they
Yeah.
just need to stuff it with all of their comforters.
Exactly. Barely just put your underwear in there and let it go awry. And
Like
then
three
yeah,
cups of detergent.
that's what I did. Wink, wink.
Are you team front loader or top loader?
So this time I went full cheat mode. So I just did a top loader because I fried the motherboard. I thought, why even have a stupid motherboard? I'm
Yeah.
just go way old school like I did. So when we first got married back in 1990, I had my first washing machine for 18 years.
I mean, and I feel like such an old person when I say this, but I swear to God, appliances do not last anywhere near. It used to be you'd have them for, tens of years.
Well,
And
and
now,
I got rid of that one because I just wanted a new one, right? There was nothing really wrong with it. I just thought, okay, I need a new one. I don't know why anybody would really want to go out and buy a new washing machine, but I thought I needed a new one. So I bought it. So initially I bought the front loaders. And that was so bad. That was the worst mistake ever, in my opinion. At least the ones that I bought
I
were
agree. Well, no, in Germany I had no choice because that's all they have is the front loaders. But
okay.
the first one I ever bought, I thought, this is gross. First of all, what's the point of having a front loader when you have to leave the door open all the time because mildew grows in the inside of the rubber part of it? You just felt it was disgusting. I have a top loader. I love my top loader. You never have some nasty microorganism growing on the rubber of your thing. It just grosses me out. So I'm not, I get like, okay, if it was a front loader, you could have a top to be able to, no, I'm not doing it. I love front loaders.
Yeah, I did the agitator this time too, because what, like my clothes, I'm not a Prada or whatever. I don't even know what designer names are really, but I'm a TJ Maxx girl or Amazon, whatever. So I don't really care if my clothes are agitated. If they get holes in it after a year, I'll just go buy more clothes because they're going to get stained and ruined anyway.
That's
So
true.
yeah, so I
I'm
just,
gonna tell you about my new discovery. I might be the last one, and maybe everybody else has already gone that route. But I found out about, and I don't know if you use them or not, but there's a bunch of different brands. The laundry sheet. So instead of the Tide Pods or the powder, this is your laundry detergent. And if you have a machine that you can actually start the water ahead of time and you could just put it in and it'll dissolve instantaneously. It literally turns into nothing within seconds. But mine doesn't allow me to do that. Like mine, it's like you have to put the top on and then it locks.
that way too.
So all I do is I just fill up this little cup and I'll with some water and then I'll throw that in there. In seconds it dissolves and then I put the dissolved water in there. Otherwise it won't take the time to dissolve it if it's
Yeah.
slowly dripping in. So and this one is I think called Sunday something. I can't remember the name of it. But I highly recommend it if you haven't done that before. This
No,
is the best, and you can get mail order. And I love this. Instead of nothing goes to the landfill. It comes in
yeah,
a little envelope. This is 3 months supply that I had, and I finally just put it all on hold because I was like, we don't do that much laundry.
yeah.
But They smell delicious. And obviously, this is not a sponsorship, but I would say no landfill, no plastic containers, way cheaper per load.
Is it cheaper? And
It's way
called
cheaper.
called washer sheet?
They're called like laundry sheets. You can find them at the grocery store. I'm going to look at the brand I have. I'm just going to Google really quickly. So,
Okay.
like True Earth has one. Mine is called Sunday something. I have to look at it.
Is it
Uh,
where they do face stuff?
Hey Sunday. Mine is called Hey Sunday
Okay.
detergent sheets, and they're tough on stains, all this stuff. But I love them, and they're actually more eco-friendly. They're better for the water that's being drained out, and the clothes keep clean. And look at that. That's a lot easier to store than those pods that if they get too much humidity, they start getting all
Yeah.
gross. And I feel always bad about getting that big plastic container, having to throw it away.
It's for college students too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just put one in and you don't have to worry about putting way too much or anything.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and now I know that you spent some years working as a house cleaner. You must have some great tips. What were the things that when you were in people's houses, you're like, why don't they just do this? Come and give me a good scoop, something that's going to save me a bunch of time and make me so happy or make my house
Well,
smell good.
most of the things that I did were I made my own cleaners, and
Yeah,
so
really?
yeah, so and a lot of them was just like the isopropyl alcohol, and I would use that to clean, and actually
Just pure alcohol or did
well,
you
not pure alcohol, no, you put water in there and use that you can use that, like, as a glass cleaner, and
Oh, wow.
then there were just some other I can't even remember all of the recipes that I had, but there's a ton of recipes that you can look up
Oh,
online
interesting.
to make your own cleaners, and so I would do that, but the biggest thing that I think that saves a ton of time is just to get a bucket and put everything in your bucket. Say your toilet brush, you're going to have it in there
All
in
your cleaning supplies so you can just take it in the room and just get everything
exactly. So that you've got everything together and that you can just kind of take it around. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things that you can do.
that idea.
Wasting time looking for everything that you just kind of keep it all together and
My
organized.
house cleaner in Munich, she did this thing where she would tell me to have a stack of towels, old towels or whatever that she could use. And so she would just grab the whole stack and it was in a bucket.
Mhm.
And so as she's finished with one, that was in the dirty bucket. So dirty bucket, dirty bucket. And so, but when she would leave, she would already have all of that in the washing machine washing. So it would be, so I realized that's a really smart way. You're not wasting a bunch of plastic or paper towels and a lot of
Yeah.
disposable things. It was the same thing. And then she'd throw it all in and wash it. And the house would smell good. And I'd have my little cleaning towels in the
Yeah.
little bucket for her. And
Yeah.
now I do that too. I think that's a great tip.
Yeah, my cleaner does that now, the one that cleans for me now, and so she just puts them in the washer when she leaves, and I just put them in the dryer and put them in the little
I
bucket.
love that. That makes sense because it bothers me when people do things and they're just wasting a lot of materials. I don't like the wastefulness of paper towels.
No, I don't either. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that and putting everything into the environment. I really like those the microfiber towels. I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of using those and I
Those that dry, they come out dry and then you
yeah,
water them. And then what I love about that is they dry so fast that they feel more sanitary to me than something that's sitting there and staying.
yeah,
I have to say though, I have probably a dozen or so hand knitted wash towels that I've gotten from clients. Different clients, that's their thing. They make little dish
it's
towels and they're knitted and so I probably have I think 10 or 15. And so sometimes when I'm helping a person, they'll go, "Thank you so much. I've got a little something for you." And
um,
I just think it's the coolest little gift ever. I love that.
that is super cool. I've never even seen those. But you use them to like do dishes and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
you can use them to wipe down counters. You could use them for cleaning as well, but I like them because they're sturdy material, and
Yeah.
so I can throw them in the wash and they last forever. I mean, I think maybe one or two are finally at that point that they're dissolving, but this is years. And so it's like, guys, so I just take that same approach that my cleaning lady had, have lots of them. And then you've got your laundry full of your cleaning supplies that you can
Yeah.
take care of.
And
So
I use them for to wash dishes and stuff now too. I just
yeah,
don't hate sponges. They
yeah,
just
those are
gross
kind of
me
gross. I
out.
think me too. I
So
don't,
yeah, so, like, I'll just have one towel, when I'm doing dishes, and then I just wash it. I just put it on the washer to dry, and then when I'm doing laundry, but it seems I have one towel that I use every day, and I'm,
yeah.
constantly switching them so that I don't have to use sponges because I don't know, it just kinda freaks me out with all the bacteria.
I know what you mean. I was thinking about some of my clients, and I find it myself too, where my mom passed away, my dad's passed away, Tom's mom's passed away, and his brother passed away. We start inheriting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like you start to collect as you're going through belongings and possessions. And I see this with my clients. Their houses are actually exploding as they get older because kids have moved out and yet they still may have some of the,
Yeah.
remnants of that. And then family members pass and you start to collect mementos. And I realized that with my mom, it was really very devastating. And I took a bunch of stuff with me that was hers. And part of it was all her old pajamas. And I slept on using her pajamas for about 2 years. And finally I was like, first of all, I'm really picking out cotton pajamas and she had a lot of the polyester ones that I was okay, I'm really sweaty. I'm not really comfortable with this. So I
Yeah.
finally just said one day, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my mom's pajamas, donate them. And poor Tom's probably thinking, thank God I've been living with somebody wearing 85-year-old
Yeah.
grandma pajamas for years. And so
That's hilarious.
that I say that is I realize that I don't need to have a million mementos. I've decided that when someone passes, you just need one or two things that might be a memento. And now I realize I've got this ring of hers that I wear all the time and it's like a salsa bowl that, believe it or not, that just makes me think of her. And so I was thinking that part of our problem is our houses start to just feel they're exploding with belongings.
I know. I feel like that already. And so that's why I try to be really organized. But for me, my thing I think with my mom that would make me remember her is she had a bunch of mice like these
Yeah.
when I was growing up. And so I think that it's fun because it doesn't really mean anything to anybody else but me. And so I hated those things growing up. And I mean, I
It
still
would make you think of
yeah, she has a bunch of animals all over the place. She'll have a cow picture and we live in the city, right? Like not in the country and she just has all these farm animals, ducks everywhere but the mice is what I remember as a kid.
it's the thing that's that heartwarming thing. Yeah, and that's what I realized. And so I also she had my mom was a big Christmas person, so we split up her ornaments. And I have a Christmas tree full of her ornaments, and it gives me no end of pleasure to have that. So I realized though at the time my older brother was really like my mom had a really pretty house and lots of beautiful belongings, and he was like, "No, I gotta have this. I want this. I want this." And my other brother and I were, "Okay, take it. Go ahead and take it." And then it was the same thing 2 or 3 years later. He's like, "I took all these things of mom's, but I really don't have space in my life for everything." But it was in the pajamas. It's almost sometimes you need to hold on to that because it feels like you're holding on to that person.
Yeah,
And then one day you realize that they're in your memory forever, that you have that bond, that relationship, and it's not about the mementos as much.
exactly. Yeah,
And
I have these glass dolls that my grandma had. And it's like, I have nowhere for them. I really don't have a ton of shelving or anything like
yeah.
that. And a glass doll is like, I mean, I don't have little kids anymore. So they're in a closet. And I do see them every day because I have my makeup in this closet, and I've got light and everything. So, but yeah, it's like you don't want too much of that stuff.
It just feels
Yeah.
a little bit. So one of my aunts, I was so hilarious. I was there for Thanksgiving and she said that she had gotten the idea from another family member, but she has 3 kids. She started having them when they would come over and they'd say they like something. She'd go, "Okay, let's put your name on the back of it." if it was like a picture on the wall or
Yeah.
a vase or whatever. So as you go through her house, it's labeled with who is going to be the beneficiary of it. Like, what's nice about that is that, instead of us not wanting to have those conversations, what a great way to say that. Or I was thinking even it'd be nice to be able to say, "Oh, you like that? Let me give this to you."
Yeah.
Because I think we all just feel the sense of needing to lighten our load. But nothing's worse than when, and I was the executor of my mom's, but all my brothers were there too. To empty a household of treasures and
Yeah.
clothes and everything is such a big thing that I think we're doing ourselves a service to just also seasonally go through and go, what still serves me and what should I kind of look at maybe giving away or donating or what have you.
I do try to do that like
Do
3 or 4
you?
times a year. And I try to organize closets and, just so because it's just overwhelming
I
sometimes.
feel that way. To me, it's a freedom. And I never have regretted, even if I thought, oh, I shouldn't have given that away. I've never regretted it because to
Yeah.
hold on to everything is the most overwhelming feeling in the world to me. I feel like then I'm my belongings are owning me versus me owning them. And
Yeah.
I hate that feeling. So
Even with all the bathroom products and all,
no,
I just my cabinets are full and I'm not using half of that stuff and I need to just get rid of that and I know it would make me feel a lot better. But I mean, I do try to I've got a lot of hacks that I've adopted from the dollar store where you
uh-huh.
can go and buy the cute little mason jars and stuff like that and they even have cute little canisters that you can
You
go
can go.
buy, and I've made my pantry really cute, and
Man, I bet, but yeah,
yeah, put granola in there or coconut or whatever, and it just when I open the pantry, I'm like, "Oh, that just looks so pretty." And it's not 100% done, and I try to give myself grace because my son will come and he'll bring boxes of cereal or whatever, and we don't have a ton of canisters, but I found that it just makes me happy when
I
I
feel the same
get
way.
most of it organized and
We cook a lot, so we ended up when we did the remodel of the kitchen, I wanted a drawer just for spices where I could open it up and have them stacked and labeled and all. So same thing, I'm super nerdy. Once a quarter, I go in there and I fill up the spices. I have an overage, amount of spices that are up in a cabinet,
yeah.
but I like it. I like that they're all alphabetized.
Yeah.
But, because inevitably before we had them in like 3 different cabinets, and inevitably it was easier just to go buy whatever instead of trying to find it. And then I'd be like, "Why do we have 3 spices and spices are expensive.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not cheap."
He
And
thinks it's human, and you're like, "When?"
no flavor by the time I get to the 2nd jar.
And
So
then it's like we've opened stuff, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, this is from 1988," or not that old, really, but I mean, I'm exaggerating. Seriously, some of our stuff was from 2004, 2006, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's over 20 years old."
pretty crazy. I have an idea.
What?
Thought of. What if we go room by room and each of us gives a tip of what we would do in terms of our because you and I are pretty anal with organization. Let's go room by room to think about what would be our tip we would want to give our listeners. Let's start with the master bathroom. What would be your one tip that like you'd go, if someone implemented that, that would make their lives a little bit easier?
Well, you know what? One thing that I did was I hung on our shower. I hung one of those over the door racks on there. Yeah, literally on the shower because ours is like we have part glass on the top. And so then I can hang all of my towels on that. It just gives me extra storage.
Nice.
And so I of course I have one on the back of my door too, but I thought, well, that's it just happened to work really good. And then I've got stuff that I hang on the other side of the shower too. So I don't wash my hair every day cuz I'm like that would
I don't either. Yeah.
take way too much time and it's really not good for your hair. So I have a shower cap so that my hair doesn't frizz like it's looking kind of mean right now. But so I hang the shower cap up on the other side and it just works. hang those little hooks that you
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
little command hooks, you can hang those on the inside of your shower and kind of whatever wall space you have, you can hang things up. And so that has been one of the things that I've really enjoyed.
I love that. Well, and for me, I've got just two little tips in the master bathroom that I've implemented over time. One is I realize I'm not a bathtub person. I don't take a bath.
Yeah.
So I bought and I had a drying rack, and I like a lot. Remember we went to clothes shopping, and the lady said, "Okay, don't put any of these things in the dryer." And we bought
Yeah,
those cute little linen or cottony blazers and whatever.
I
So
do. Do
I
you?
just I put in the bathtub because I have a shower and a bathtub that are separate. In my bathtub, I have the drying rack. So
Oh, that
when these come out of the washer, then I can go right into my bathroom and put all my clothes to dry. And then I'm able to, because I don't really ever take a bath. Have the ironing board set up so it's super easy. I can take it right out there, get it nice and ironed, and put it in the closet. So I love that because I never knew where to put the damn drying rack.
that
And the
yeah.
second tip I have is this is silly, but I take my cleaning supplies into the shower and I clean my shower while I'm taking a shower.
That's pretty smart because
Because yeah,
and then you get
exactly. So I'll clean it, and then at the end, because whenever inevitably when you're trying to clean the shower and you're not showering, you get
yeah,
all wet, you feel kind of grimy. It doesn't feel good. But this way, I get done with it, and I'm like getting all of the tile cleaned up, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm going to take a shower.
yeah.
Those are
So
my
just
two little
yeah,
hacks.
just don't clean the toilet when you're trying to open.
Just the shower, just the shower. Everything else will not be clean, but the shower I do while I'm showering. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I love that.
Yeah. What about you? Do you have a certain room that you're like, I've got this one nailed down?
Well, I think my closet, my closet is not big. And so one thing that has made me so happy and it's just a super tiny thing. And maybe people have done this way before I have because it's not a big thing, but just having all the same color hanger and have
Love that. That's a great idea.
just went to I can't even remember. I think it was just Target or something like
Home Goods, we all have them. Yeah.
stop just cheap I mean, they're not even nice hangers. I know some people go all out and get the wooden hangers or whatever. Mine are just plastic, but they're black. And just having them all the same color just really, I think, makes a huge difference. And then what I did was my mom gave me this old dresser, and you know how old dressers, they're super heavy and they're
Yeah.
really good material. So I painted it. And so it looks really, really pretty. And it's the whitewash kind of. And so it doesn't look old anymore. It kind of looks new and what do they call that? Not bougie, but like the shabby chic.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like that. So I've got my pretty dresser, all my hangers that are the same. And then I just put like all of my short sleeve shirts on one side and then all my long sleeve shirts and blazers and dresses and stuff like that, which I don't even wear dresses very much. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but I'm more of a blazer and tennis shoe kind of
Yeah.
girl. So
It's a good
yeah,
look and it's uncomfortable. That's the thing with dresses. As soon as you put
yeah,
on the dress, you're like, now I've got to put uncomfortable shoes to wear with it.
yeah.
No, I
So
love
that
that because it gives you a sense of zen in your closet. It's like those little tiny tips that make it feel more yeah, I ended up buying a bunch of baskets that I have labeled, with our t-shirts and other things. Same thing, just to kind of visually make it a little bit less cluttery.
And
But
then one other thing that I did because I didn't want to paint, I painted we had these wooden shelves that were in there too, that are kind of where my shoes go. And so I painted that all white to match the dresser. And then now I think I lost my train. Oh, and I know, so I didn't want to paint my walls because I was like, then I was going to have to really remove
take
all of
everything out.
clothes and everything. And so I was like, that's a little much. But what I did was I bought these really pretty, they're almost wallpaper kind of stickers. And they're just big flowers. And they just kind of make me happy. And
Nice.
so I put them on areas that were kind of looked like stained or whatever from the years because my house is like an older house. And so I just kind of put them around and it just made it really just pop and look really good. And it wasn't a lot of work and it was super cheap too.
Nice.
So
Oh, I love that. That's a great idea. I mean, I feel like closet's very boring, but you're right. I remember now you have kind of like this, it's a girly closet. Does Jim not have any space in your closet?
So he was like, the closet's pretty small anyway. So I'm just going to take and put his clothes in another closet. It was his idea to kind of move out because he's like, I think I'd rather just put him in one of the other rooms. And so they're there. So I was like, okay. Because of course I wanted the whole space. I mean, it was his
That
idea.
no, but that makes a lot of sense. We share a closet, but we have pretty defined which racks are yours and mine, and I think that
Yeah.
that works out just fine for us. It's big
Yeah.
enough for both of us. So
And we
I'm
did
not a
that.
big I'm not a big clothes person. I hate going. I mean, I'm one of those people. Actually, I hate going shopping.
Really? Yeah. And I mean, I'm not anymore. Yeah. I'll go maybe 2 or 3 times a year and get a few things, but I'm
Last year, when we spent some time together, I probably bought more clothes with you when I was in Atlanta and you were here. Those
yeah.
days we went shopping than I probably have in years.
It was fun though,
Yes,
right?
we had a great time. Yeah, and I love what we bought. It was just like you said, it's kind of that laser and tennis shoe kind of t-shirt, fun
Yeah.
look. I think there's something about this age that makes me go, I don't want to ever have to wear uncomfortable shoes again.
Exactly. Yeah. I love my tennis shoes and they're such cute tennis shoes.
They never were as cute as they are now. I agree.
Yeah, like you could wear little leopard ones or whatever, just black and white and brown and I even have those sparkly ones which initially when I first bought them they're like my silver sneaker
Yeah.
tennis shoes that all my seniors love and I didn't really like them at first. They were not really me cuz I'm not a sparkly
You're not a
girl,
blingy girl. Yeah.
just kind of neutrals is my thing, but everybody comments on them and they've gotten so comfortable because I wear them so much. And so now I'm kind of used to them and they don't bother me anymore. But
I love it. I think it's a good kind of talking point. I
I
love it. Yeah.
agree. It totally is.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. It took me a while to realize what is the appropriate clothing for this job, and everybody's gotta do what's right for them, but I realized it's like a casual, comfy, but not sloppy. Look nice, look smart, but you don't have to be, blazer and a suit or
Exactly.
something, so
Well, most of our seniors are just in tennis shoes.
yeah, they're happy to just be relaxed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's more like than what you look like, right? Is
I agree.
presentable and you can present yourself well and know your stuff. I think knowing your stuff is way more
Want people to feel like you're approachable. There's something about when somebody comes in and they're stiff and they're in their like serious clothes, so to speak. There's this automatic separation. And I think you and we have a hard time separating friendship from business. We are open books and we want to feel like our clients can feel that way with us as well.
yeah,
And
because a lot of even after my meetings, I'll be like, "What are you doing
yeah,
today?" You know, and I just like to see what their life is like and what's on their agenda and everything.
I do
So,
too. It makes me
yeah,
happy. I agree.
you.
Oh, we've been at it for 51 minutes. I guess we should probably get wrapping up. I don't know if there's anything else. Was there anything else you think that we should really make sure that in this cleaning and organizing podcast today that we left out?
I don't think so. I can't really think of anything. Can you?
The only thing I would say is try and be a little fearless about it. Can feel anxiety ridden. I think getting rid of belongings, especially as my aunt used to call them cariños, the things that you care about from others that might be just, and sometimes we can just be overwhelmed with it. If your place is starting to feel like it runs you, take the time and make a game out of it. Just start
Yeah.
in one little closet, like you said, one little drawer. And it's
Yeah.
amazing how much better and how much more lighter you feel by
And
just
you
trying
know
to tackle it.
Yeah, take a picture of it. If it really means something to you, take a picture of it. You don't have to keep
Yeah,
it. You can, if it's something that you just really isn't in your heart to keep, don't.
exactly.
And give it to somebody maybe that would love it and
Exactly. Give it to them while you're alive versus after you pass, and I think
yeah,
that that's a really good way of looking at it, and who wants to leave all of that burden to our loved ones, our kids or whoever,
exactly.
and that's how I look at it too, like, it's a gift for me to be lighter on myself for whoever would have to be responsible for taking care of my belongings.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a great point.
Yeah, well, Medicare Bestie, I think it's time for me to wrap it up.
Say good night. Good night, everybody.
Well, I mean to say goodbye.
You don't want
No.
to sing.
All right.
Hey,
Well, thanks for joining us, and we will be back with another fun episode from the Medicare Besties. If you guys have some ideas of things that you want to hear us cover, let us know. And we thank you for listening.
awesome. Thank you. Bye
Uh,
bye.
If you're wondering if this could happen to me, the answer is yes. If you do not know what gaps to look for,
Join us for our free Medicare webinar, Buckle Up Buttercup, 5 Medicare Secrets for a Smooth Ride Through Retirement. We'll show you how to dodge costly surprises and stay confidently covered.
seats fill fast. Click below to save your seat and bring your questions. We're ready when you are.